Hey, what's up, everyone? We are live. We're alive. Man, it's been a while since I've seen that intro, that video intro. That was the intro of my old videos when I was a lot more active on my channel.
It was pretty dope.
like, like a year ago.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, and I was like, I still like it. It still hits, but I gotta update some of that artwork because that's a lot of old art comic book projects that I was involved in years ago. So now I have to add like splashes of Vigilant Fury there, splashes of Ghetto Dragon, new Ghetto Dragon here, and all that stuff. So, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, baby. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good, baby. I'm doing good.
Feels good. It feels good. We're on the home stretch, man.
Yeah, we're in the home stretch. Second chance campaign for Vigilant Fury is up and going. Well, we're close to up and going. We're on. We're getting close to hitting the live button on the Indiegogo, and I hope everyone out there is good. I hope everyone out there is having a good Monday. It was busy for me because of my day job. I just got out like half hour ago, so I'm still kind of like, all right, shifting and everything. Glasses, purple, yellow, diamond. I don't know what that means, Oli.
Purple, yellow, diamond.
Is that supposed to mean something, Oli? I don't understand.
I don't know. I feel like he's casting a spell on us or something.
Brujeria? He did some kind of brujeria, Oli. All right, let me just
3 times out loud.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna let the Twitter, or actually the X, know that we're live.
Oh, that's so weird to me still.
I know, right? Twitter or X or whatever it's called now.
Even on my phone, like when on the home screen, when you see all the little thumbnails for the apps.
Oh, it's an emoji. Maybe what's up, Ben, by the way? What's up? Maybe my Google's not showing up that emoji that Oli shared. Well, what were you saying? Sorry.
I don't know. Oh, the little thumbnails for the apps. Like when I look at my phone, it's still the blue with the white bird or whatever it was. But then when I go to click on it, it's like the X. It's trippy. Yeah, it's weird.
That is weird.
But whatever. What's up, Ben?
That is
June, right? What is a couple of weeks? We're going on Ben's show.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You did mention that to me. We're going there. Hey, what's up, Aerith? How's it going, dude? Or I'm sorry, milady, Aerith. How are you? The hero of the space opera.
Nice.
Or was okay. I gotta get the situation. I'm so out of whack, man. Like going live for me, going live is so like stressful for me, especially when I'm hosting. When I'm a guest, I'm like whatever, but hosting is kind of like I got all the stuff having to go on. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta make sure everything's good, but just to make sure the show goes smoothly, runs smoothly.
You're trying enough. Just get on there.
I think, yeah, right. I think that's what it is. I shouldn't worry too much about that. I'm tripping. So how was your Monday, Anthony?
It was good, man. It was busy. I did some running around earlier in the day. I'm promoting classes for my studio. So I've been doing some old school promoting and going like door to door to some local businesses and seeing if they'll accept flyers or postcards for advertising. So I did that today. I went to a few places. I was working on some concept art for not like for my students, but I started teaching at a local college this semester, and the project they're working on is actually like, I mean, I gave it to them, but it's a lot of fun, and I wanted to do it with them, kind of. So I was doing a little bit of that, doing some last minute touch ups on the campaign before we launch.
Cool.
Yeah, that's about it. A little bit of everything.
Busy day.
Freelance life, man.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Now you know how I feel setting up these. Yeah, I know a little bit of your pain, Oli. A little bit.
Oh, no. Oli. Julius just told me recently that you guys are in shops now, and I just want to say congratulations, and I'm proud of you guys, and that's amazing.
Cryptos in comic shops throughout the country. I don't know if it's all the stores, but I know that Ray and Oli and company hustled to make sure as you know, to make sure they got their books in as many comic shops as possible throughout the country. And from what I hear, they've done pretty well. And also we're getting a lot of great feedback from readers regarding the Kryptonals. It's a really great book. You know, I'm the editor of that book currently, and we're at the home stretch as well. We're getting close to the end. We're on issue 4, I think. Issue 4 is coming up soon. Nice. I think later this month. So yeah, so he even shows his appreciation.
Are you guys thinking of doing trade paperbacks?
I think we had a discussion about it. Oli, remind me again if we did, if we are, or if you guys are or not. I'm not sure. I don't think so, considering the fact that oh, actually no, I think they did mention yes, but I can't really divulge that. I gotta let them announce it. I can't really say yes. We're gonna do this because it's not my place. It's not my place to say it.
But I don't want to get people in trouble. If they haven't talked
hardcovers. So he already said it for me there. Hardcovers.
Okay.
Which deserve it. That'd be so badass.
That's so dope.
So badass.
That is so dope. Well, if you guys want another shop, I have a little tiny window bump out in my studio that I use as a shop for indie people. So we'll talk.
That's a great segue to let's start talking about your studio. Tell us about how you got your studio, how let's walk us down that path where you
that right there. That's how I got the studio.
There you go. But you got a studio now.
I do.
Where you have your own space, your own working space, which is great. I think that's every or most artists' dream is to have their own working space where they go outside their home and they actually go into an office of sorts and get to work. You get to work as long as you want. It's your studio, it's your space. You can set it up however you like, and you can work on your projects there and have no worry about dealing with phone calls, dealing with your wife asking you to help her with stuff, or your dogs. You're all closed off from the world.
I mean, I bring my dog with me, and my wife usually comes after work. So, we kind of marry the two worlds. But yeah, I mean, before this, like I still had my own space. Like I was fortunate enough that we have a room in the house. That's like, it's not really a basement, it's a den, but it's downstairs, it's away from everything. So I turned that into my studio for, I don't know, like 3.5 years. And I quit my job back in March to pursue freelance and teaching, because I started teaching kids last August, so a little over a year ago. That was going really well. I was enjoying it. I was starting to teach at a few different locations around the area. So I said, you know what, it's time to quit and do everything else I really wanted to do. And then 2 days before my last day at my job, I was walking my dog and the for rent sign on this beautiful place was up 2 days before. So the studio was not in my plans at all. I wasn't looking at anything. It wasn't even in my brain at all. But we are also expecting our first child. So
congratulations.
Thank you. The practicality of it was a bonus too, because now the room that was my studio in our house, we freed up as a guest room, and we have the nursery upstairs now. So that was a huge added bonus. And yeah, man, I mean, it's an incredible blessing to have this space and really like make it how I've envisioned it for a long time. I have a section to teach classes out of. I'm also teaching at the college, which is only like 5 minutes away. Nice. I have a little space to sell my work. And, as I've told you, the plan is to have other indie artists in here as well and selling their work. It's just been awesome, man. And I'm sharing it with somebody. He's a really cool dude. His name is, it's not a joke, his name is George Lopez. He's a
not the actor, not confuse it with
not
the comedian actor George Lopez. It's a different George Lopez.
But yeah, man, it's been a real blessing. I just put in an espresso machine today for the adult classes, because instead of doing like we talked about this yesterday for a little
Yeah.
bit, and I don't know if it's everywhere, but like in this area in New Jersey, there's a lot of paint and sip classes that are really popular, and like board and brush and stuff. So you go in and you do a guided painting with an instructor. You sip, I think it's usually like wine and stuff. And it's like just an event for something for people to do, and it's really popular and a lot of fun. But I don't really paint and I don't really drink alcohol, but I love inking and I love espresso. So I replaced that with it's espresso and sketch now. So I'm
Nice.
starting those up. Yeah. And especially because it's the month of October, um, I have it planned up to each class is 2 hours. And we're going to have one of the classic monster movies playing because they're only like an hour and 10 minutes. They're pretty short. And then their guided drawing is going to be a step-by-step packet of the character from the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have a family friend who's a local baker who does really like healthy but delicious baked goods. So I'm working with her, and everybody's going to get some of that, some espresso, some water, some drawing, and a movie. Sketch
Nice.
espresso. Yeah, basically.
That's pretty cool, actually. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you, brother.
It's great to have a studio. I wish that's one of my goals, actually. One of my goals is to have my own comic book studio. I mean, I don't draw, but to run it, to kind of play this role of a producer who recruits a few artists to work under house. And, I go out there and look for the jobs. Hey, this DC Comics is looking for this, or Marvel, or this indie guy producer is looking to produce a comic book, and then get those contracts and bring it back and pick out, okay, you be the artist this time, and you'll ink it, you'll color it, and I'll make sure to edit it and everything and get it all nice and squared away. And that would be a dream.
You want to be like an agent?
Kind of like that, I guess, like an agent / producer type.
Nice.
I don't even know what that's even a thing nowadays in this landscape. I know there's studios, I know there's comic book studios, but they're mainly collectives of artists who pull their resources together and help each other out. But I'm looking like a straight up, almost like a movie producer of sorts.
I mean, and listen, bro, get your butt to Jersey and you got a place already. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. But we got to find a few more artists to join house.
Oh, trust me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's plenty. But of course, the not the trick, but the hardest part is getting the jobs. How can you prove yourself to be a legit studio when you don't have any work under your belt? So we got to get I got to have a few books under my belt to kind of get that, I guess, that weight.
That is exactly how. I mean, I still feel like that to an extent, but that's honestly like that's why I started the my first crowdfunding project with the sketchbook. That's why I did that book, because I had just finished grad school. I was working from home. I had a lot of extra time, but I still wasn't an illustrator,
Right.
I had a job as a designer and it was great, but my goal forever has been, or not forever, but for the last 10 years or so, is to be an illustrator and a storyteller. And my comic work at the time was not like, I was embarrassed to even have done it, let alone show anybody. But I had all those like single images that for whatever reason, those worked. And I was really proud of those. So I was like, all right, let me at least try to get my name out as an illustrator in this capacity. And then now we're here. Almost.
Now we're here.
Was it 2 years later? 2 years and some change later?
Yeah, your first actual illustrator job as a comic book storyteller is your first not only small job, but big 80-page story.
Well, and technically, it's my second job. My first one as a paid comic book artist was for like 8 or 9 pages of some anthology.
Oh, okay.
But that was still while I was in grad school. It was garbage. And to be honest, I don't know if the anthology ever got published. Like, I have no idea what happened. So I'm kind of counting Vigilant Fury as my first like real professional comic book art. But there was a little a little dipping of the toes prior.
Well, I had you jump right into the damn pool with Vigilant Fury.
You did.
For a little bit of a history here. When I first developed Vigilant Fury, I was looking for an artist, and there's a few websites I used to go to find artists, but they kind of dried out. You know, social media has kind of killed the I guess like the deviant arts, you know, those kind of pages. That's where I will always like scope out the new up and coming artists who are starting out and what have you. And so I just gave my shot at Twitter, and I got a lot of response from Twitter. So now that's where I find most artists is from Twitter. And you know, that's where I met you.
Yep.
And we hit it off. Actually, we started talking and we got along really well. And then I pitched you the idea and you loved it. And I promised you it was going to be a one-shot 40-page book. And it ended up ballooning to 80 pages. Now, I don't know if that's because I'm a terrible writer and I just didn't know what I was doing at the time.
If you were a terrible writer, you would have forced it to be 40 pages.
That's true. But then that's a good point. That's a good point. But I was lettering the pages last night. I started the lettering process for a lot of the pages last night, so that way I could get ahead of it. So when you provide me the pages you're going to redo, I don't have to worry about, you know, I guess what this daunting task of lettering 80 pages within a small window of time. So I think I started lettering. I think I got over just last night, by the way. 15 pages.
Huh?
15 pages, yeah.
You lettered 15 pages last night.
Well, the foundation, not bubbled. I didn't add the word balloons or anything. I just the way I letter like this. I grab all the like maybe 10, 15 pages at once. I open them all up, and then I set up the pages so I could, you know, get the lettering stuff and settled. And then I just add the words and I position them. So I type in the words, I position them so I know where they're going to be. And then that takes me a few hours to do. And after that, that's when I quit for the day or I take a break. And then I go back and I start adding the word balloons on those words.
Okay.
And thankfully, man, like as I was discovering last night when I was lettering the pages, there's not a lot of dialogue. There's not a lot of freaking dialogue or narration. Hey. See, Gregory finds some humor in it. He's not laughing. He's saying, "Hey, yo, what's up, Gregory?" I thought he was laughing. I was like, this guy gets it.
What up, Greggy?
No, there wasn't until man, the end is and that's not a bad thing. It's the good thing is it's action packed.
Yeah, and also I don't know if I've disclosed this with you or not, but I take it upon myself to force the words off the page as much as possible, because the way I work and the way I love to tell stories and also read stories is through the pacing of the images first. Even though the story obviously is written first.
You definitely captured that. That's 100%. When I was lettering the pages, I was just admiring your art for one, but also your sequentials. You know, I was able. So in other words, the way I always look at a good story, a good comic book overall, is if I can look at the panel sequentials before reading it, and I can follow the story, then all right, you got yourself not only a good book, but a good artist who knows what they're doing, because there are rules, right? There's rules in telling stories in the comic book format, just 100%. Like there's rules in telling stories in a movie format or a television format.
Yep.
So, the really good grandmaster storytellers can break some of those rules, or they could bend some of those rules because they've been doing it for so long that they could experiment. But when you master the rules, then you could tell a compelling, engaging story, because the whole point of when anyone picks up a comic book is to get lost in the comic book.
For
and
sure.
I found myself getting lost in a comic book when I was looking at the pages.
And you wrote the damn thing. Oh,
what's that?
And you wrote the damn thing. You already know what happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. And there's something to be said for like something like the 1980s Frank Miller, because that's kind of the writing style that I fell in love with.
Oh yeah.
So my personal preferences with comics are either as little words as possible, or if you're gonna write, make me feel as much as I'm feeling from the artwork when I'm reading the words. Like I loved those few Frank Miller books from the 80s, like Dark Knight Returns,
Yes.
Daredevil, which one am I thinking? Man Without Fear. Like his narration in those books, it felt like I was reading like, I don't know, a creative writing prompt of a hungry like student or a early professional, and it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And like the way he describes New York City in that Daredevil book, like stuff like that catches my attention. So those are kind of like my two aims with telling stories: either make people happy that they're sitting there and reading, or like have them go through the book without having to read a word if possible. And I give credit to one of my professors from grad school, phenomenal illustrator named Brendan Leach. He gave us an assignment, and the assignment was a challenge, which was to come up with a short story. I think it was like 5 pages, with no words. It had to be completely silent.
Oh, nice.
We had to rely
challenge.
on our rules of storytelling. We had to rely on tones and shadows and body language. And that's really when I started to like get a hold on emotions, not just in the face, but in the body too, and pacing and all that. And it was so much fun. And I literally gave myself that challenge for every project going forward, and now every professional project that I do.
Well, you did a great job. I'll tell you
Thanks,
that.
man.
Yeah, because like I was saying, when I was lettering the pages last night, I did find myself being able to follow the story, and I was like, this story can still work without the lettering, but it's important to add the lettering for this story anyway, the Vigilant Fury story, because it as I was lettering it, it really did feel like almost, in a lot of ways, like a horror story. Where I was kind of like scared for the I was a little scared for the bad guys.
What did I do to them?
Yeah.
You monster.
Pat Mills is a comic book writer that successfully breaks the rules. Pat Mills is a writer who breaks the rules.
Nice.
When you have a working process, creative blocks do not exist. You're absolutely right, Greg.
That's true.
Absolutely right.
That's true.
Let's see. I don't think writers should set out to break rules. They should only do it when the story calls for it. Absolutely. Yeah, Greg knows what's up.
Greg
yeah, that's right. Gun Demon. I remember your book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has it come out yet? Has that come out yet, dude? I remember you were pushing that one for a while, and I was looking forward to that one because I like the premise of that book. So let me know. Let me know if you're still pushing for that. Pat Slane, the Horn God series breaks pretty much all writing rules and is one of the best comics ever written, in my opinion. I never heard of that one. Pat Slane, the Horn God. That sounds interesting. Hey, Ginge.
NJ.
Gambino breaking out with the 40 ounce he's been hanging with Julius too.
It's water, okay?
I was kind of hoping you went. I'm gonna break my rule. I'm gonna drink tonight.
Yeah, I'm going full Snoop Dogg with a friggin' glass 40 ounce.
Okay, no, Gun Demon's going to be about a year late. Oh, it's unfortunate, dude. That sucks. I hope it's just a speed bump and not too bad, not too much of a hole. Because I know, speaking from experience, I've had lots of projects where you start off and you go strong for a while, and all of a sudden the artist disappears on you and you don't know what happened. So I hope that's not the case for you. Hopefully,
I'll say this. I've been working with Greg for a little while now, not on Gun Demon, but it'll be worth the wait.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Mecha Man, because he does mention Mecha Man here.
Yeah. There you go.
Is that what you're working on?
No.
You're just gonna keep that secret? Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. For now at least.
Oh,
Oh,
Christian
okay.
Rossi. Nice, dude. Nice. I like his work. He reminds me a lot of Eduardo Rizzo, which is why I like his stuff. His
Well,
stuff is
like
really
you
good.
mentioned the comic book studios before, they're of the same studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
there's
there you
a
go.
bunch of guys in there that are like killer.
Nice.
There was
Nice.
another guy from that studio. I can't think of his name
That's
right
true.
now, but he did a Hellblazer comic that was gorgeous.
You're talking about
I can't remember his name. I feel terrible. But he's in Christian's camp as well. Or at least he was at the time. I don't know if he still is. It's gonna drive me nuts.
it's not Tim Bradstreet, is it?
No. It was another I believe it was another Argentinian artist.
Oh, Argentinian. Oh gosh. It's
Here
Marcos.
we go. Marcelo Fusin.
Marcelo, yes. Oh yeah, I really
Killer
did
work.
love his stuff in Hellblazer when Brian Azzarello wrote it. He did some
Yeah.
great stuff for sure.
Yeah. And I think Tim
Edwin.
Bradstreet was the cover artist. That was a great little series. Yeah, Marcelo Fusin.
I'm okay with the year late. Most of the books I backed are 3 to 4 years late.
We're a year late.
We're close to a year late ourselves. It happens. I didn't want to go over a year, but it worked out because in the middle of all this, in the middle of producing the book, I discovered that Anthony was really, really well versed in ink wash, and apparently he didn't know he was good at ink wash either. So
Anthony discovered it too.
Yeah, he discovered at the same time as I did, and we spoke about it, and then Anthony just decided, well, screw it, let's just do the rest. Let's just do the book in ink wash. And I was like, but you already drew like 20 pages, dude. Are you sure you want to do this? Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I was like, all right, well, it'll be worth it. And sure enough, the feedback has been positive when we let the backers know about the change. We did get a lot of positive feedback from that. It was a lot more surprisingly so, actually. I thought they were going to be upset that there was going to be a further delay to get the book, but once we announced the ink wash approach, then they were all about it. So we're happy about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and also too, like not having the full-time job anymore has been so helpful. I did it took me forever to do pages, man.
Good point. Good point, Greg. Yeah, I'll put it back on secret.
3 years, a little bit of
You're we're gonna try not to be that. We're gonna try to be
no
blue collar knights of the Iron Age. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know. I'm like, Iron Age has been another movement that started on Twitter, which is I feel like there's a lot of good people on there. I think, but I've yet to see the magazine. The only one I know of is the Iron Age magazine, which I know the guy who did that one. I forget his name. My apologies to you. He did put out a magazine, which I hear was really good. Delays are good if you're improving the quality of the book. Absolutely, Oli. And that was the idea. That was the fun thing that I always like to tell people is that Anthony's when I told him, oh yeah, but we already promised the backers a black and white book, and his answer to that was, what, are they going to complain that we're going to make the book look better? Like just go for it.
To be fair, I stole that line from Geronimo because I was talking to him about it, and he said that he was like, "You think they're going to complain that the book looks better?" I'm like, "You're right."
I know, right? Yeah. So good on Geronimo for that. That was cool.
Yeah, and good on Geronimo for introducing us too, because he sent me your tweet.
That's right. He did. I've yet to thank him personally for that because That was definitely a find for sure. I always like discovering new artists who are coming up because it's fun to work with new people who are starting out, and hopefully they can play a role in developing their approach to making comics, because I'm all about that. I'm all about creativity and what have you.
Yeah, man, and it's crazy to see how helpful Twitter has been with that. Like I
Yeah.
never thought, the landscape, like, I don't know, 10-ish years ago was, oh, Instagram is the place for artists. And now it's like I'm pretty sure I've gotten every freelance job with the exception of like one or two from Twitter.
Mm.
Like, it's crazy. And it's as simple as responding to a tweet, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's nuts, right? It's nuts.
It is. It really is.
So, guys, you guys are here because of Vigilant Fury Second Chance campaign. Now, I understand the Second Chance campaigns occur after you fulfill the book. I totally understand that sentiment.
They do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, hey,
Ooh. Sorry,
we're
guys.
talking about rules, right? We're kind of bending them here tonight. We're the first ones to kind of bend the rules as to what the Second Chance campaign means to the people who didn't get a chance to back it. Now, granted, yeah, it does mean that once your book is fulfilled, the second chance means that the people who missed out on it will get a chance. But it's not really about the book. It's really about you, Anthony. It's about the second chance to get your commission art, to get a chance to do commissions from you at the prices that you are offering, because the prices you offer are pretty damn like reasonable, like far from reasonable.
It's highway robbery.
Beyond reasonable.
Yeah, and we wanted to include the commissions again because the next project I do, or the next time I do commissions, they ain't gonna be this cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, if you're someone who didn't get the book, or you know someone who would like the book and you tell them, that's great too. But this is also a chance to get more artwork for a ridiculous price, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, and the age of inflation, prices, everything has gone up throughout the country, throughout the world. Gas prices, food prices, clothing prices, everything that you could think of that was once reasonably priced has gone up. And our prices are still the same when it comes to backing the book as well. The book is still $15, I believe.
15.
Right?
Yep.
It's 15 for 80 pages of ink wash, of a story. So it's essentially a graphic novel for $15 for 80 pages, which is pretty freaking good. So I don't think anyone else is doing these kind of prices with their comic book projects on Indiegogo or Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But then again, Kickstarter, they're more of a floppy issue platform. The backers there like floppy issues of books. They don't like the collected book unless it's a well-known creator or someone who is established already. But if you're fairly new to the game of making comics, they prefer a floppy 22 to 30 page issue, and then they wait for the next one to come out, the next campaign, which is cool. Actually, I kind of like that, to be honest with you.
I think we have an advantage, mainly because we kept the book black and white, and we didn't have to like charge extra because it was colored, because that's a lot more in printing, as you know. So I think, like, because if I remember correctly, a lot of those floppies on Kickstarter and stuff, they're like, I don't know what people charge, $5-6.
Yeah, roughly there.
So for $15, it's not that much more of an increase.
No way.
think
For an additional 60 pages of story.
Yeah, I think people might be tempted to just try it out. Because it's ink, and I don't know, like, if it's what's the word? If it's obvious in the post that we've been doing, or if people know, but it's ink wash plus a little bit of digital texture.
Yes,
I've been adding some halftone textures to it.
I will show you some of those
Yeah.
samples now. So yeah, that's
yeah, let's launch and show the people.
where am I? Okay, here we go. And thank you again, guys, for showing up to the live stream, hanging out with us. You know, it's great to do these live streams again. It's been a long while that I've done one of these. It's kind of, I've forgotten how stressful they they can be. Because if you don't have anything prepared, then you know what's your show about? What are you doing? How are you keeping people's attention and stuff like that? Because that's just me. I like doing that kind of stuff, entertaining people.
Listen, man, if the beard and the hair aren't keeping attention enough.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you pointing that out to me.
So distinguished.
All right, here we go. Okay, where am I? So there you go. There's one page.
I can't see anything. Oh, okay, there we go. Man, that's not the final page.
It is. That's what I downloaded from the folder.
I don't see any textures.
Dude. Oh, it's flat.
Hey.
Nevertheless, this is the ink wash.
Oh my God, Julius.
Hold on. Let me get it.
My screen?
Oh, go ahead, please, by all means.
All right. I was actually messing around with color on one of the pages to see what it might look like. Hold on one second. How do I do this? Oh, present.
Yes, present.
Share screen. Okay. Don't show these tips again. Okay, very good. What is this? Select the tab. Share tab window.
The compulsion to write the story about escaping something is relatable. Those urges often create. Yes, that's exactly where it came from, Greg. It came from, my wanting to challenge myself as a writer to go, okay, if I was in this situation, or if I have this scenario here where someone is captured and are not going to give up, they're going to actually fight their way out, what would the story be? And I've always liked the story, and you're right, those stories are relatable to a lot of people. I mean, Die Hard is one example of that, where Bruce Willis's character wasn't really trapped. He was there to save his wife, but he had to find ways to fight these heavily armed, were they German or Russian terrorists?
I don't remember.
I can't remember what the ethnicity they were. So that was great. And of course, any story involving an escape, like the most famous one, Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption, was another one. That's a memorable scene, right? The scene where he escapes from prison. He waits 20 years in the story to. Have you seen that movie, by the way, Anthony?
No.
You have not seen Shawshank Redemption?
No. Are you looking at me? I can't see.
I'm looking at you. You can't see me?
I have not.
Because you have one screen.
I'm looking at my screen. Right? Yeah, I have one screen like a peasant.
Yes, I was giving you that look of like, I can't believe you have never seen Shawshank Redemption.
I know.
It's one of the classics, but it's a prime example of an escape story. It's a story about a innocent man who gets into prison, and then when he discovers that he finds another witness who can get him off prison, it's too late because I don't want to give away too much. You should watch the film.
All right. To be fair, I haven't seen a lot of stuff, which has been known around Twitter. And number two, now I'm saving everything I haven't seen to watch with my son someday. So I'm going to hold off on all this stuff and watch it with him because.
You shouldn't watch Shawshank Redemption when you're with your kid. It's not one of those movies. No, you should watch it with your wife. It's a great film. It's 3 hours long, but it doesn't feel 3 hours long.
Ooh.
It really doesn't feel. I don't think it's 3 hours long. Actually, I'm lying. I think it's like 2 hours and like 40 minutes or something like that.
Okay.
But it's a classic, dude. A classic story about escape, like an escape from prison. And then, of course, another classic movie, Escape from Alcatraz, with Clint Eastwood from a movie from the 70s, which was also an example of that. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to marry the two genres that I like the most: an escape story and also an action movie, an 80s action movie. I grew up watching 80s action movies as a kid. I still watch them again to this day. I'll always take notes as to like my favorite action directors, like John McTiernan, I think his name is. He's the director of Predator and Die Hard, the first Die Hard movie. And then James Cameron, another director that I love. I know he gets a lot of hate nowadays because of the Avatar movies, but he was a great action director. I mean, Terminator 1 and 2 were freaking fantastic. The Abyss and True Lies. True Lies is still one of my favorite. And then there you go. Prison Break is another great escape show, Ben. That's a good example there. But that's what I wanted to do with Vigilant Fury, and that's why I think it really spoke to you, Anthony. But right, is that just part of that? Was that part of that? The whole like aspect of a story about someone who has to escape their captivity.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, like it was a little bit different for me thematically and visually because I had been working primarily on like fantasy and horror stuff, but the story had kind of like you touched on earlier, like it had hints of horror in it. Like it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Suspenseful. Um, and also I loved the idea of and I mean this in a good way, like I loved the simplicity of most of the story is getting from point A to point B, because that's like in essence that's a good story right there. It's what happens to the character, how do they go about solving that conflict, what else happens to the character, how do they solve that, and then how do they solve the first conflict. So you can like think of Lord of the Rings. What's Lord of the Rings? It's these two guys trying to get a ring into a mountain. That's it. That's the plot. It's going from one place to another, but so much happens in between because of the snowball effect of all these little incidents that keep happening. That is so much fun to me. So yeah, that definitely spoke to me. And then touching on the 80s movies, which I didn't really get a grasp on this mentally until I started doing the pages like this. I was like in the beginning of the project, I was really trying to focus on like what the shipping containers look like and what the cargo ships look like. And if you've ever seen the inside of a cargo ship, like it's I don't know. I don't like to say things are impossible, but it felt impossible for me to get that specific. So I kind of just said, screw it. I'm going to take the 80s sci-fi movie approach and make it up. And once I started thinking like that, it really helped. And it started to become so much more fun because now I can just come up with these different, like all these big pipes and machinery and different shapes and putting them together and using angles and everything. And it started to become way more fun. And the pages started to come out much better.
Nice. And that's what it's all about. That's all about. Julius, is your writing style inspired by any specific writers? Yeah, a lot actually. The main one is Alan Moore. I know right now he's not really a favorite at the moment. Some of the comments that he gave recently about the money he gets from DC and where it should go, which I'm not gonna mention here because that's not the time or place for that. But Alan Moore was definitely a huge influence on me when I was younger, and he still is in a lot of ways. I still read a lot of his stuff. V for Vendetta is one of my favorite comic books of all time. I still read that book once a year. Miracle Man is another one that I loved. But other than Alan Moore, Brian Azzarello, who the writer of 100 Bullets and Johnny Double, And Spaceman, another favorite of mine. He was a huge influence on me on my writing, because I really loved the way he wrote crime noir, and he just had this spark of like dialogue as well that just made the characters almost flesh and blood when you read his books. Have you read 100 Bullets, Anthony, at all? Like,
yeah, I think I read the first volume, and maybe the second. I can't remember, but yeah, I definitely read some of it.
Yeah, it was one of my favorites.
So
I
much.
every month I went to the shop. I regret I stopped, I think, at issue 63, and after that I kind of fell out of love with comics for a while there. And also other things happened where I was kind of like, personal stuff that stopped me from going to the comic shops every week. But yeah, that was one book for sure that really like influenced me. And then the other one is Ed Brubaker. Ed Brubaker is another influence on of mine. Again, another crime writer. He wrote Gotham Central with oh gosh, this is the other writer that was involved, Greg something. But Ed Brubaker co-wrote that with that other writer, and that was another good book. And of course, there was another small book he did that I can't remember. He works a lot with Sean Phillips in like his crime noir series. Like Fatale was a great book that I loved. There's all these other there's a bunch of other writers. The last one that had a major influence on me was Peter David. Peter David was a huge influence on me as well. As an action. What?
You said Peter David. I was like, really? I was thinking of Larry David.
Oh. Maybe if I was writing comedy, I would say Larry David. Oh man, no, not Larry David. Peter David. Peter David wrote the Hulk when Tom McFarlane was starting out. He had a great Hulk run that was fantastic. He wrote Spy Boy for Dark Horse with Pop Mon, I think his name was, the artist. Another great book, and I loved his pacing, his action pacing in comics. He had a great pace for action in comic books, and he was definitely a huge influence on me as well. Actually, he was a major influence on Vigilant Fury. When I was developing Vigilant Fury, I read a bunch of Peter David books, and nice. I think he also wrote a how-to guide on writing comics too, like how to write comics, like that. You know those books that you see at bookstores. I think he wrote one. I have one. I think I have his copy, and I've studied that book thoroughly. So yeah, major influence on me for sure. Those writers. Yeah, I think Criminal. There you go, Ben. Thank you, Ben. The Criminal was the other book that I love from Brubaker. So yeah, but yeah, Alan Moore was the major one because we mentioned earlier about bending the rules and breaking the rules. That fool broke a lot of rules when he wrote comics, but he was already at that level, man. He was at that level where he could, and he was able to pull it off, which is something that most writers today can't really do anymore, which is kind of sad. It's kind of a shame when you think about it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for sure. But the campaign is live.
So we're live. We're live. Damn it! I don't like Moore, but I do know. Yeah, absolutely. Just like I don't like Mark Waid. I think he's terrible. He's a terrible person, but that guy wrote a lot of great stories. I love his Flash run. His Flash run is fantastic, and I highly recommend anyone who hasn't read Mark Waid's Flash run anyway. Read that. It's great fun. All right, so you want to I'll share my screen since I have it up already.
Okay. Did I not share my screen?
No, it didn't work.
Sorry.
Oh, you don't think Waid is talented? Maybe not so much now, but back then I felt he was.
Who said that, Greg?
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, it sounded like Greg.
So yeah, we're live. Dang it. So Vigilant FURY second chance. Ooh, almost stumbled that one. Second chance campaign is live. Yeah. So once again, these prices are the same. They have not changed at all. So 75 for the commission bundle, which is the 9x12, right? Yeah, 9x12, and the copy of the book.
Yes, sir.
And this commission piece can be anything you want. And once again, you will have a deadline. A deadline to request what you want Anthony here to draw. So that way he knows what you want. He'll do it not exactly the way, within reason. That's I had a friend of mine who asked me, hey, if I back one of the commission perks, would he draw like a team fighting in space? I was like, what do you mean a team fighting in space? He's like, yeah, like like a George Perez type of. I was like, whoa. I was like, wait a second.
Not for $60, bro.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I was like, wait a second, buddy. No. Within reason, man. Like that's not gonna fly if you want all that detail.
Reason at all.
So, oh goodness gracious. There we go.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. There's the link in the chat. I hope I did it right. I know I'm still new to the live streaming, so I don't know how to give out the what do you call it? The little wrenches. The little wrenches where you could do that yourselves.
Make people admin or whatever.
Yeah. In the future, I'll do that. In the future, because I plan on live streaming once a month going forward, once or twice a month, depending on the time I have going forward. Because I do want to get my YouTube channel active again.
Nice.
And you're gonna see a lot more videos being produced on my channel going forward as well. I just dropped one last week called Tales of a Struggling Indie Writer, which is stories, my personal stories of being a struggling indie writer and my experiences producing books, and also producing books that fell through halfway of production, and gaining all this experience and wisdom through trial by fire. I had to learn the hard way. No one really guided me when I started this journey of making comics. I didn't have someone, who took me under their wing and taught me the way, or like taught me the rules. I had to learn everything the hard way. It's like, oh, this is not how you do business. Oh, my bad. Oh, that's not how you write a script. Oh, my mistake. That kind of stuff. So everything was the hard way, but it just made me tougher. It made me a lot stronger, a lot better as a storyteller. Yeah. Because I did have I had one editor, and I kicked myself for not remembering his name, and I should remember his name because I only interacted with them twice, and then after that he went off to do what he was doing, and I went off to do what I was doing. But that was the only guy to actually, I don't want to say call me out, but the only guy to actually tell me, your stuff is pretty good, but it could be better. And here's why. And then he pretty much broke me down. He broke down what my problems were, or my weaknesses were as a writer. He's like, you're really good in dialogue, you're really good at this, but when it comes to this other stuff, you still need to work on it. And then he actually was nice enough to not charge me for his time, because he did spend some time, working it out with me, or like looking over my script with me and breaking down why panel 2 wasn't working, or why these 3 panels weren't working, or how it's wrong to write this kind of panel description, that kind of stuff. And yeah, man, he really, it was like a 2 days like school of hard knocks. And I'm forever grateful for that guy, because he was the guy, the first guy to tell me the phrase that I still use to this day, which is, there's a reason why it's called constructive criticism, is to build you up, not to tear you down. So don't ever take it personal. Yep. Because he sensed it when he was breaking me down the first time. I was kind of getting defensive, which was a natural occurrence from by everyone. And then that's when he told me, hey, like, take it easy. Like, don't take it personal. I'm not attacking you. I'm just letting you know what you need to work on. And that's when he told me, constructive criticism is because to build you up, not to tear you down. and then a switch went on. I was like, okay, all right, cool.
Do you know what the switch was for me with along that line of criticism? Hello, you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
I'm listening. I'm just looking. I'm just kind of making about all these things going on at once.
I had a professor during a critique. He was saying like a lot of stuff about my project, and I was kind of like getting bummed out a little bit. And he was like, no. I can only give you as much as you give me. So I can only give you this much because you gave me a lot to work with. I was like, okay. He said, the worst thing I could possibly do is look at your work and say, okay, it's fine, and move on. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. No, he's right. He's absolutely right about that.
And now I say the 100%. Same exact thing to my students.
Absolutely. Well, let me just do something real quick here. There we go. All right.
Oh man, I'm hoping some people get some commissions though. Some more people.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's going to be going back to why it's a second chance without us fulfilling the books first and then doing a second chance. It's mainly so people can get a chance to get your commission work at the prices that you're offering at.
Yeah.
Because like I mentioned earlier, everything's gone up, right? All the prices have gone up. Everything, printing costs, freaking everything and anything went up the past 2 years post, the COVID shutdown. And the fact that we're still keeping the price line the same, I think that's going to be a great selling point to a lot of people who are looking for comics. Maybe they never heard of Vigilant Fury last year when we launched it. Maybe they're just barely hearing about it now. So now is their chance to get a $60 commission piece from you, or a sketch card from you, or get the bundle, the level 5 art bundle here for $120, which gives you the copy of the book and original art, an original art page from the book itself.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, my wife is like, you better get a page for that thing. I was like, I will. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Or once again, he's offering the Gambino special, which is $400, which may seem like very steep, but you get the book, you get 3 sketch cards, and you get a 9x12 original commission, and you get 3 Vigilant Fury original pages. These kind of pages right here.
You showing the right ones this time?
It's on the page, man. They better be. You
I was looking at the campaign.
Let's see if I could zoom in. I can't click on this. No, I can't.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Come on. Don't fight me. Don't fight me, computer. There we go.
Nice.
Oh, by the way, these 2 pages here were so much fun to letter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they were so much fun to letter. I was a little worried because of the space. I was like, oh, where am I going to put the war balloons at? But then, like I was telling you earlier, as I was positioning the dialogue or the dialogue in their spaces, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so much fun. This is gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
And I was able to work it enough where this panel here was blank.
Really?
Yeah, because I was able to fit a lot of stuff in here that didn't cover a lot of the art.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I got this whole panel here that I can use. And so I added a few more lines of dialogue here that kind of, hit it right at home
Gotcha.
with this scene. And this is a very intense scene, guys. I can't wait for you guys to read this scene because it's really, like I said, when I was lettering it, I was like, I found myself like laughing and going, man, this is intense.
It is. And I think if I remember the script correctly, this is the first instance where we really get a good look at Milo.
Yes.
I think he appeared in the book prior to this, but this is where we get a better sense of his veracity.
Yes. Those pages. Thank you, Oli. These pages are badass.
Thank you, brother.
In the script I wrote, that he screams at them like, I think I said Gordon Ramsay in Hell's Kitchen.
I think you did. I think you did.
I was like, I need to get that intensity right in your nose, intensity. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? And a lot of it, there's a sliver of my stepdad, because my stepdad was like this, intense like this. Yeah, right in your face, nose to nose. Whenever if you pissed him off, God help you. That's the reaction you would get from him. Is that close, nose to nose, like a teeth grinding anger.
Damn.
Very scary. And he was a big dude too. He wasn't a small guy. He was big. So there's a little bit of my childhood PTSD in there. just a little dash. But yeah, this is a great scene to write. It was, and Anthony, you did a great job with these pages, man. They look great.
Thank you.
And then here's when they're going. This was fun to letter to, because now the whole thing is it's a nice smooth like snake. When I was positioning the
nice, good.
Yeah, it was you did a great job positioning the characters here, because it was like, oh yeah, I could add one here, there, the guy in the back there, and then started here, there. It was like, oh, it was beautiful,
awesome.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, if I could do like if I could do an entire book of just 3-panel pages like this, I would be like a pig in poop.
He'd be at home.
Thank you, man.
Yes, Greg, the sequential storytelling is on point. That's I really was admiring your you honestly, man, you did the heavy lifting, to be honest with you. Because when I got the script and I was adding the dialogue, and I was reading the descriptions, I was like, damn, dude, this guy, I didn't give this guy too much and he gave me a lot.
That's
like
what I like.
You really did give a lot to this project. You really did.
Thank you. But that,
and this is, of course, this go ahead, finish your thought.
No, keep talking. But or keep scrolling. But like, yeah, that's, again, we've talked about this plenty of times, but to your credit, in the beginning of our working together, you asked, do you want like a really tight script where
Right.
you lay everything out and tell me what you want on each panel and tell me what happens and what everything looks like? Or do you want like a loose script? And I told you, give me as little as possible.
Yeah.
Because, and it was nothing, it was going to sound like such a jackass, but it was nothing against you, because I didn't know you. But I was like, I don't really, like, in my head, and again, I didn't know you. I didn't know how you worked, but I was like, I don't really care what you want, because I know, like, I know I'm good at my job, and I'm going to make sure it works. So just let me do it. But I mean, again, we've talked about it a million times, but we've established a very solid working relationship, and
we
work really well together.
Greg's here saying, I personally think the best thing a writer can do is leave plenty of storytelling choices to the artist. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that sentiment. And freaking Oli. No, you're right. Earlier when Greg was asking me, who was my major, influence as a writer, well, editing wise, Jim Shooter, I know his name has been mentioned a lot more recently than I've ever heard in the past 5-6 years that I've been on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of people have been mentioning his name more and more because of how he ran Marvel when he was editor-in-chief during the 70s. And apparently he ran a tight ship, but he got things done, man. He got all those famous books that people remember from the 70s were because of him, essentially. He's the one that made those things happen. Secret Wars crossover, that was his idea. He did that. And him putting the right writers with the right artists, he also was really good at that as well. And he also made sure at the same time to provide the reader an accessibility factor in the comics, meaning, there's a lot of books. there's a blog, another great blog that's still out there. It's archived now, but there's a few key entries that's still up in his website, but most of it's gone, which is sad because he like there was so much rich knowledge he was providing in his blog when it was active back in 2000. I want to say 2011, 2010, 2011, around there, around that time. Jimshooter.com if you guys want to check it out. And I was there every day. Every morning I would go on and just check to see if he posted something new, because he always has something interesting to post. And one of the things he said was, when the main mistake that writers make when they enter the comic book industry is that they don't allow the artist a breathing room to tell the story.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And that was like, because at that time I was still kind of, the whole, I'm a writer, I could write the script, I could tell the artist what to draw, that kind of stuff. Panel 1, bird's eye view shot, nighttime, heavy shadows in the ground, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Nope.
That was me. That was me back in 2010, 2011. And so when I read that, I was like, dude, he's right. Like, and at that time I was wondering why some projects would fall apart halfway through. That's because it was because of me. It was because of my controlling factor. But once I learned that, it was easier to make comic books after that.
Yeah.
And that's why since then, I would ask any writer who I work with, hey, do you want me to write this detailed script where I give you pretty much instructions on what to draw, or do you want a loose script where I just kind of give you like a vague description and you could figure it out? And then depending on the artist answer, they either get one or the other, and you chose the loose script, the vague loose script. And
Yep.
And guys, look at this 9-panel grid. I specifically asked for a 9-panel grid because of for the reason of the story, but the background stuff, all the things that he drew, that was all Anthony. I didn't write that in the script.
Yeah, all the character designs, all the sets, any scenery, even like adding in those teddy bears in the boxes, which you'll see again later on, hint hint. That was all me having fun.
Yeah, and I'm glad you were having fun.
Yeah. And again, like after I started thinking, you know what, treat it like an 80s action movie where they make stuff up, that's when the beauty started happening. Again, same thing here with this room.
Yeah. This was cool.
This was so much fun. This was such a fun page. And that was, oh man, that was one of the biggest challenges of the book, was that part of the script. Because you wrote in, he gets stabbed in the back part of the shoulder.
Yes.
From a knife coming out of nowhere. Then a knife hits him in the leg out of nowhere, and he shoots around like a madman.
Yes.
Like, how the hell am I going to draw that? It's not a movie.
All right. Yeah.
But
you're right. You're right.
So much fun to draw that panel, that middle panel.
That was cool. I really did dig that, especially the bullet lines.
Yeah,
where they end up at,
I love that stuff.
That detail on that page is ridiculous. Oh yeah, that's another thing that that was great about this. It's you did a great job capturing the because you and I, let's just break the secret here, right? You and I have never been on a container ship.
No. God. No.
You and I have never ever stepped foot on a container ship.
No.
So I researched the crap out of this. I was like, okay, I got to make sure I'm at least somewhat respectable of what container ships look like, how they're built, and how they're how they look inside, not so much outside, because there's plenty of pictures of ships outside, right? It's just the ship and a bunch of containers. That's it, stacked up. But what does it look like inside? That was the hardest part for me during my research, is because there's not a lot. There's not a lot of that kind of stuff out there.
It is chaos on the inside.
It is.
Chaos.
And you did a great job capturing that with the little research that I was able to provide you, because I'm sure you did some of your own research as well
I did a
on your
ton.
own.
I did a ton.
and
Yeah.
and the fact that, but with my research and your research, you really did capture the essence of what a container ship would be or would look like.
I hope so. I hope I did it somewhat justice. Yeah, it was challenging, as like I said, especially in the beginning when I was trying to like make sure it looked like an engine room or the control rooms that they have, the boiler rooms, but and also like the size, the scale of everything. Like
Yeah,
their
right.
their engines. First of all, there's not one engine. There's multiple engines, and each one's like the size of a room. They're
I
insane.
know. It's insane, right?
Oh my god! But like beautiful too. Like it's so cool to look at, and especially I came across a lot of videos and pages on YouTube of like I felt like it was a whole subgenre of YouTube where it was people giving tours of
Yes,
the cargo ships, and it was super helpful.
very helpful.
But like I'm like there's no way I can draw all this. Like there's no way. So I made it up.
Well, as long as you had the basic idea,
Yeah, I mean
the fundamentals.
it's made up with the reality like in my head.
Yes, yes, and that was the goal. The goal, like I told
Yeah,
you in the beginning, is that we're not going to be accurate here because we're not writing a book on the accuracy of a container ship. The story is about the escape. That's what we should focus on. Is that
yeah,
the environmental stuff? Readers can suspend their disbelief on that
right.
because readers don't know either. They're not, unless a container ship employee reads the book and goes, "Wait a second, this is inaccurate." Kyle is here with us.
What's up, Kyle? Oh,
Kyle, would you like to come on and meet Mr. Gambino if you have any questions for him? Kyle, for those of you who don't know, is my co-host for a new show that we're currently recording and producing. It's called Let's Talk About It. And the show is it shows about the many topics regarding the comic book industry, pop culture, movies, TV shows. And Kyle is a great co-host because he's a new comic book reader. So he's never
nice.
he just started reading comics about a year ago. So he grew up watching the films, the MCU films. And once Endgame, was the peak, that was the end all be all of the MCU as we knew it back, when it started in 2008 with the first Iron Man movie. He After it was over, he was kind of like, okay, well, what's next? I kind of like these characters. I don't want to just end it. I know it's based off comic books, so maybe I could find some more stories with these characters I like in comic books. So he found his local comic shop that was near him, and he went in there. And after that, he's been hooked ever since.
That's awesome.
And he found a new he found a favorite character that he actually likes, and that was Green Lantern. Kyle Reiner's Green Lantern is the Green Lantern he likes, and he's been collecting all of Kyle Reiner's, I guess, Green Lantern books ever since he became the Green Lantern back in the 90s after the Parallax storyline. So he's the real deal. So all right, Kyle, I'll shoot you over the link, and you could come in and you could introduce yourself,
Nice,
and
man.
you could for a while.
I appreciate that he went back to the source material.
Yes, because that was my major gripe
Yeah,
about the movies, was the fact that as much as it was great, I guess, seeing those actors at the San Diego Comic-Con, as great as it brought a lot more attention to the comic book industry and comic books in general, those Hollywood types didn't really push fans of the movies to go to the comic shops.
right.
They didn't make an effort of, producing or printing comics exclusively to comic shops, so that way fans can go to the comic shops and like check them out and get the free books or whatever.
Yeah.
They didn't do any of that, and that's what kind of irked me. Not kind of, it irked me when I was starting to realize, like, okay, this is great, guys. You're having fun. Wow, San Diego Comic Con, this is so great. I've never been in this place before. But forgetting, like, yeah, dude, be grateful that these books were already in circulation since the 60s.
Yeah.
And it's gained so many, fans, kind of like Star Wars, right? You were a kid, and then when you had your own kids, you introduced them to Star Wars, and they became fans, and on it went. Because I plan on introducing comics to my 2 girls, as they get older. I'm going to take them to a comic shop, and I'm going to get them into comics, because, and when I was 12, I hated reading. And I hated writing.
Summer
I did
reading
not.
list?
Huh?
Summer reading list?
Oh my God. I dreaded it. I dreaded reading. And honestly, the only reason why I got into reading was because of comic books.
Yeah, man.
Comic books were the only ones where I was like, oh, cool pictures, but I still had to do some reading with those word balloons, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to tolerate it. And eventually it got to the point where I was able to finally appreciate novels and short stories in high school, because I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I could not suspend my disbelief, but I can create pictures in my head as I'm reading now.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Very interesting point.
So it was definitely
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, definitely a plus for me. I love the medium. I love comic books, and I always try to push young kids to read comics. Like, go to the comic store and check it out, and always push, because we need them,
especially the indies with what everyone's doing right now.
Especially the indies. Yeah.
Did you see, and this is going back to promoting the source material, say what you will about the movie, I know there were like a lot of mixed opinions about it, but when
Right.
the Batman came out, the Robert Pattinson movie, the Robert Pattinson Batman,
Yeah.
DC actually released a box collection. It was, if I remember correctly, it was a slipcover of Robert Pattinson's Batman, but there were 3 graphic novels in the set of the source material that they pulled from for the movie. And I thought that was really cool. Like, and it wasn't like volumes 1, 2, and 3 of a run. It was this graphic novel, and this graphic novel. This is where they got some of the story points from. I thought that was cool. At least like something like that happened.
Yeah, something like that could have been great if Marvel did it, because at the time Marvel was riding high. That was the moment where they should have cashed in, not cashed in, but help out the retailers, because the retailers, there's no Barnes and Noble of comic books. There's no national chain of comic book stores. It's individually decentralized stores.
Barnes and Noble has comics, right?
They do, but do they pick up weekly comics?
No, not like that. It's only
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Novels. Yeah.
I'm talking about that kind of storefront. Is the when you go to the comic shop every week, every Wednesday, for the new issues. And it's great that Barnes & Noble carries manga and trade paperbacks, but they don't care. They will never carry the floppies. They wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare to.
That's very true.
So here he is. Here's, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host for Let's Talk, Kyle.
Whoa, look at that display.
I know, man. Isn't that
wild? Beautiful. Look at this. Yeah,
that's only a year, dude. A year reading comics. Can you believe that?
Oh, you went.
And I've got back here boxes. Let me see if I can tilt down. Boxes and boxes of comics.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Whoa.
There you go.
Dude.
Boxes and boxes of comics.
That's what I'm talking about. That's Kyle is a perfect example of someone who, as a kid, could have gone to comic shops if he just was made aware of it.
Right.
You know, because you watched the movies, right? If I remember correctly, Kyle, you watched all the movies, right?
Yeah, I watched all the movies, and that's like what you were saying. I was listening in when you were talking, giving me like my background and stuff like that. It's like, what happened was I was watching, I watched all the movies. I loved, all the Marvel movies and stuff. And I wanted a little bit more out of the stories. And I distinctly remember it was around the time of Infinity War that I decided I want to learn what the actual story is of Infinity War, because I thought, okay, I'm going to read the graphic novel. I know they pull stuff from graphic novels. Maybe I'll get some insight of what's going to happen in the next movie. So I went and, like you're saying, though, I went to Barnes & Noble and I picked up the trade paperback. and I got it and I read it and I loved it. I read it was Infinity Gauntlet, though. I got Infinity War, and then I got the one that was before it, which was the Silver Surfer, the lead up to Infinity Gauntlet. And then I got a few others, trade paperbacks. And then once I got all those, then after Endgame and all that, then I'm like, well, I kind of like these comic book stuff. I'll go to my, there's a different comic book shop I went to, but it was only trade paperbacks I wanted to collect, because for me at that time, trades were easier for me to get into because they're self-contained stories. They're all right there. So I can just go and pick up the whole book and get all the series right there. And so I go to the comic book conventions and I look for the trade paperbacks, I get them and I read them. And then it wasn't until the Batman was when they were talking about one of the comic book stories that were influenced it, that I read The Long Halloween. And The Long Halloween and Year One, and there's another one too. But it was actually Batman White Knight that I read with Sean Gordon Murphy.
Oh, cool.
That when I read it, I realized I went to a different comic book store and I realized that there's actually the story continues on, not just in the graphic novel or in the trade paperback. And I'm like, wait, they actually still continue the story. I thought trade paperbacks are like all of it. And so then that kind of got me into floppies. And so I, like you said, one of the characters that I like is Green Lantern, because I'm a little biased because my name's Kyle. And so I tend to just gravitate towards all the characters in all of pop culture with the name Kyle. So there's Kyle Rayner, and then there's Kyle Katarn from Star Wars, and then there's Kyle Reese from Terminator.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's a lot of Kyles. If you start looking for them, there's a lot. So anyway, Kyle Rayner was one of the ones that I wanted to collect. So I went online and I saw some guy selling a big lot of comics for I got 50 or something comics for $10. And so I got them and I'm like, man, these are actually really cool. And I started reading them. And then I'm like, okay, well, I want to finish up the series. So I went to what is now one of my favorite comic book shops, who just sells old books up until around 2000 or so.
Nice.
And I went in there and he just had almost the entire collection there. And so I just continually went back there, and he was helping me out. He was explaining to me how comic book industry works, what is or what's considered Silver Age, Golden Age, what's all that mean, some of the terminology and stuff. So he was a really good mentor for me in learning all that. And then after that, it just skyrocketed from there, me going to all the cons, actually learning more about it, and then get a job, and my boss, Julius, happens to just make a comic book as his side thing. It's just funny how that works out. And then we get to where we are now with me starting a YouTube channel talking about comic books.
Yeah, dude, it was the wildest thing.
Crazy, man.
Like, it was just out of nowhere too. He's, you know, when you start work at a job, you see the person every day, and eventually you start to ask him, hey, so what are you into? What do you do? Like, what do you do outside of work? And then it just came out like, oh yeah, I read comic books. And like, oh, you read comic books? Oh, cool. And then that was it. Off the races we went. And so I've been educating him as well in terms of who's who of the comic book industry, in terms of the people who make comics. So I know, of course, when you get to my age, you tend to forget that not everyone knows who you know, right? Like earlier when you told me about you didn't never seen Shawshank Redemption, it's kind of like, how can you not see Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah, you were judging me a little bit.
I haven't watched it either.
But here's the thing, because you weren't a cinephile growing up.
No,
and I forget that. I forget that not everyone was a cinephile like I was growing up. So of course you wouldn't know Shawshank Redemption. It's my job to tell you, oh, Shawshank Redemption. Oh, you haven't seen it? Dude, watch it. It's worth it. It's worth time.
I'm also 10 years younger than you, viejito.
That too. But didn't you tell me you were a sports guy?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I didn't even get into comics until I was like 17, 18. But yeah, I liked all the TV shows and stuff, but yeah, I played soccer and baseball until high school, but soccer my whole life. Yeah, I was always an athlete first.
There you go.
Drawing was a hobby, and then I took the classes in college, and
So I'm sure there would be a lot of soccer stars that you would you would tell me about. I'd be like, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
Oli wants to know, Kyle, whose collection did you buy? That was a joke.
Well, like I said, it was some guy on it was Mercari that I was buying. I was looking, and he said he was selling off all of his collection to make room for more Batmans. And I guess he was a collector of Green Lanterns, because every now and again he has another big listing of Green Lantern books, and he sells them for cheap all the time. So I bought like 3 or 4 lots from him of like 50 plus comics for like $10 each.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm also in Comic-Con going through all those dollar bins, doing all that, you know. So
yeah, you mentioned Long Halloween before, and
right.
Most people watching this have heard me talk about my love for Tim Sale's work and Jeff Loeb's writing. I mean, that pair is my favorite pair of all time. And I have
not a fan of Jeff Loeb.
I'm
not a fan of Jeff Loeb.
I have a couple like of the floppies of Spider-Man Blue. And I think I'm not a huge fan of floppies. I love the trades, but like those are a few series that I would go hunting for.
Yeah.
You should.
Well, that's one of the things too that I've been looking to try to get is the floppies of the Long Halloween. I got a few of the Dark Victory.
Oh, the covers are so cool.
I know. That's the reason why.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. Like Julius was saying, I'm not into like all the background of comic books. Like, I don't necessarily know who everybody is and what connections they have with everything. So like, I just go to the comic book shop and I just see something that's cool, and I look and I flip through it, and I'm like, oh, okay, it looks cool. I'll take it home, read it, and I'm like, no, that sucked. I'm not reading that again. or no, that was great. I'm gonna pick up the next one. That's just how I do it.
I just did that this past week for the first time in a long time. I picked up Phantom Road by Jeff Lemire and Gabrielle Walta. I feel like Jeff Lemire is a pretty popular name, but Gabrielle Walta did the Vision story from a few years ago. I want to say Jeff wrote it, but I'm not. No. I think it was Tom King and Gabrielle Walta. I don't remember, but I love his work. He's a fantastic illustrator. It doesn't look like your typical like American comic book art. I think he's a Spanish artist, like from Spain. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful work. And I picked up this book because it was those two, and it's called Phantom Road. and it was dope. And I was like, this is so refreshing because it's new and it's awesome. And it was a lot of fun. And again, a pretty singular story, like plot. It was this truck driver is involved in a car accident with looks like an early 20s girl. They find this thing that's like it looks like a piece of alien residue.
Yeah.
They take it, and all these like creatures start coming after them, and then the whole plot is they have to take this alien residue from one place to another.
Really?
And yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's so much fun. And it was a great book.
I think the book that I had a similar sort of reaction to was, and if you watch me and Julius's YouTube channel, you'll find a review about that, but it was the Sean Gordon Murphy's Plot Holes.
I've heard really good things about that.
It sounds really interesting, actually, based on his reviews and what he's been telling me at work too, like how it's going. And it's like, oh damn, this sounds pretty cool.
And
it's sort of like what you were saying, where it's like I try to like find things that are different amongst everything else. And Sean Gordon Murphy's artwork is very distinct, so you can definitely tell what he's done. And so it was actually the comic book shop owner, or one of them, the workers or something, that recommended me to get that book. And I'm like, oh yeah, that looks like the from the Batman White Knight guy. So I'll pick that up. That's just how I make the connections. It's like, oh yeah, I remember him from that story.
Yeah.
So I pick it up, and it's a really great like story in it. It's the plot is that it's a group of characters from different genres of books and TV series and stuff. You've got like the mystical realm, which is represented by a like transforming tiger, and then you've got like the romance novel type people, which is like a swashbuckling hero woman type character. You've got like a cartoon character. And basically the plot of the book is that they are editors of people's novels. And so they physically go into the books and edit the story so that it continues continuity. So it has that. So like if it's like, say, a space novel, and in the novel, the aliens show up on page like 39, but when they're going into it, the aliens actually show up on page 27, or the writer made a reference to it. So they have to physically go in and kill all the aliens in that first page so that it continues continuity. and then the book will sell.
It's so funny.
It's like mind-boggling type, but what really, it could get very confusing very fast, but Sean Gordon Murphy did a very good job of actually explaining the world very efficiently and very effectively, so that you're on board as soon as you read that first issue.
And he crowdfunded it, right? Wasn't that a
I believe so. It's by his own company. He wrote it and drew it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I like that.
But like, and then also with things that stand out, one of the other artists that I also very much enjoy is Alex Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And so I've like come to try to collect everything. Kingdom Come was also one of the staples of me collecting books. Like once I found that trade paperback, I'm like, okay, I'm instantly in love with comic books.
I made the mistake of just not waiting to go to the comic shop that he goes to, because like he said, the owner sells a bunch of old books up until the year 2000.
Oh, Kyle. I thought you meant Alex Ross.
No. Kyle. No, not Alex Ross. Kyle. I'm sorry. Kyle. Because I was looking for the Marvel's single issues.
Right.
Because I have Kingdom Come. Right. I have the Kingdom Come floppy issues that originally were produced back in whenever they were produced. So I was looking for Marvels now. And I made the fucking mistake of educating him on Alex Ross. And this little bastard finds a signed copy of Alex Ross and Kurt Busiek in that comic shop.
Whoa.
And I got it for $5.
You got it for $5. I was like, dang it, man. Why did I open my mouth? I could have gotten that book myself.
Oh man.
I got almost the entire series too. It was like $30, I think.
Bro, you're intense.
Yeah. And I sent it to him right away, and I'm like, look what I got.
Yeah, he sent me a picture. He's like, hey, look what I got. I was like, oh, you bastard. That's what I get for opening
You're fired.
No, it was my fault for educating him, for introducing him to Alex Ross's work, because he didn't know who Alex Ross was at that time.
Yeah, I just knew. Yeah, I just knew Kingdom Come, and that was pretty much it.
Because you know how it goes, right? When a newbie comes into the foray, you like want to introduce him to all the, oh, you check this one out, check this one out, check that one out, and you just want to expose him to everything, and let him get a freaking signed copy of the Marvels, which is hard to find, by the way. Those books are not easy to find, and if you do find them, they do go up. They get pretty pricey when you do find them on eBay, or you go to a comic shop and they have them on display there. They'll charge for like, they go for like what, $20, something like that per issue now.
Around there. I think when I got at that same shop, the floppies of the Kingdom Come storyline, I think that was $10 each that I got for each of those.
Not terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's Kyle. Everyone, Kyle, the world, Kyle.
Yes, hello.
I know he wanted to meet you, Anthony. So I'm glad that you stuck around, and it went by fast. We're already at an hour and 30 minutes.
I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, so it was when I saw Kyle's message, I was like, "Hey, is it already?" And I was like, "Oh crap, it's already 6:30." Well, my time, 6:30. It's like, "Oh, dude,
went by fast."
It went by fast. So thank you, Kyle, for joining us.
Sure. Yeah, it was fun. I love showing off all my stuff.
Yeah,
it's really cool, man. You did a great job.
Yeah, it's a great collection. It really is a great collection,
and it continues on to the whole room.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to continue for a long time.
I think so too. Yeah. Maybe in the near future we'll see a Vigilant Fury book back there.
Oh yeah, I'm displayed. Sure. I've got I have my Ghetto Dragon somewhere. Here it is.
So organized.
Yeah, it's so funny that the Ghetto Dragon, I gave him a copy of it and he read it and he gave me, you're probably the only reader, Kyle, who's giving me actual like legit criticisms of like, well, this didn't work for me. I wish there was more of this. I wish there was more of that. And I was like, okay, yes, all right. But that's a good thing though. That's what I've been wanting. That's what you hope for as a writer. You want readers to actually read your stuff, not just like buy it and be like, thank you, and then they just put it in the pile amongst other piles and never read it. That sucks. And then
I gave you a few suggestions that you're all like, man, I wish I thought about that.
Yeah, dude. There's a few where I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Holy crap, man. These are good ideas. These are actually good critiques. Yeah, I should take that into account.
So now all the stuff he sends me, and I just like, well, how about that?
Well, I'm gonna start sending you my scripts going forward and go, okay, read this, and then you can let me know what I'm missing here, and then I'll fill in the holes. But I didn't have a problem with that with Vigilant Fury, I'll tell you that.
Nope.
So Anthony, if you want to step out, if you're ready to step out, go. Yeah. By all means, go ahead. Thank you for hanging out and launching the campaign. Guys, it's live. The campaign is live. Vigilant Fury. Hold on, let me just put this back on the screen.
Oh, hey, can you play the trailer before I go?
Yeah, of course. I know we didn't even do that.
Small request.
No, we didn't.
So Vigilant Fury is live. Second Chance. How's this? 212. Hey, 2120 Productions. Hey.
Oh, good night, beautiful.
Good night.
That's my buddy Rob.
Okay. Hey Rob, thanks for joining us. All right, let me play this trailer here.
Is the music gonna play?
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Oh yeah.
No.
You don't hear anything?
No.
Oh, for crying out loud!
I think it's a StreamYard setting. You have to like allow the music to play or whatever.
That's what I did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let me stop the screen real quick. I could have swore I did. That's why I opened up in the
You got further than I did because when I tried to share my screen before,
to
I thought
share
it was
audio, share a tab or screen instead.
tab or screen instead. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I don't understand. No, that's gonna be my screen. Dang it! I can't believe this. Oh, I think I know why. Never mind. Hold on. I know why.
In?
No, it's because I opened up the what do you call it? The Firefox, and Firefox does not like StreamYard for some reason. So apologies, my peeps.
I'm looking over the comments there, and it says that, Gregory says that they're 100% indie these days. That's one of the things that I definitely had my eyes open to with working with Julius is the world of indie comics and how different and sometimes better they can be than just the normal the Marvel DC,
Yeah, there's some pretty incredible work out there.
Oh yeah, tons.
A lot of work to get the work out there, though.
Right. That's the thing too. It's like with working with Julius, having my learning about all that, learning what it does take to make a comic book is very eye-opening.
Yeah, it's nuts, but it's worth it. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see.
All right.
Okay, we can hear it. I think.
Yes, no.
It's loading.
Give it a second. I don't know why it's loading.
Your internet sucks.
I think. Oh, I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. You're coming back. Nope.
No.
Oh, what? Oh my God. This is terrible.
People go watch it. It's short. It's cool.
It's good.
My buddy Danilo did the music. He was very generous to give us his work to help us out. He does awesome stuff, and it's at hold on. He spells it differently on each platform. It's at Daniflow on Twitter, DA_NEE_FLOW. So go follow him. Check out his music. If you have a project you're working on that you need music from, hit him up. Yeah, and share the campaign, support it, please, if you haven't already. Go check out the trailer with the sound. And that's it for me. I'm gonna bounce and get out of here. But Kyle, awesome meeting you, man.
Yeah, it was great.
Keep doing the good work.
Reading comic books.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need you guys.
Right.
So, Julius, brother, as always, it was a pleasure.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
I think I got it.
Third time's fourth.
Here?
There we go.
All right. Thank you, Greg. For suggesting that. I read your comment there about the check mark, and I finally figured it out. So here we go. Nice. Yeah. So did you edit this yourself?
Yeah, man. I put everything together, man.
That's amazing. That's great, dude. How long did it take you to do that?
Too long.
Too long. I wish you would have asked me. I would have helped you out with that.
No, I wanted to try it. I wanted to do it. Yeah, I used the CapCut. I don't know if you guys use it. I think I'm pretty late to this, but it's an awesome app. It was pretty self-explanatory, and it had a lot of cool filters and everything. It was a lot of fun putting it together. I had other stuff to do, but I liked putting a trailer together. And it was cool working with my buddy's music. So that was fun.
Did he write the music specifically for the trailer?
No,
or he already had it.
He already had it, and he's just been, he's been making tracks for a long time. And I was like, hey, just send me a few things that you think would be cool. And we had that one, and I sent you an earlier trailer, and it was a different track. But then,
that's right.
We changed it, and the tone, it fit everything perfectly. So
it did. Well, great job, man. That was a great trailer. When I saw it for the first time, I was like, damn, that's a good one, man.
Thank you.
Like, I wouldn't have been able to pull it off like that.
Thank you.
And especially with that music too, it really does. It's really effective, really well done.
Yeah, I thought so.
Your homeboy did a great job with that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it always does. But,
all right, dude. Well, then,
all right, guys.
I don't want to hold you off. So have a good night, and thank you again for all your hard work. And let's try to get this as much funded as possible for the second chance. And again, people, Anthony is gonna, is offering his services as an artist for the commission pieces at a low price. So get at it while you can.
Yeah, I am.
Too low. All right, guys. See you.
See you, Anthony.
Chat. Right. Thank you guys for joining. Nice meeting you, Kyle. Take it easy.
All right. You too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya. Well, it's a good thing you came, dude, because I don't think I would have been able to do this by myself. But
oh, really?
Oh, I hate doing live streams by myself. I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to. I don't know what to do.
Well, you were doing it for a whole hour before I got here.
Well, we're hitting close to that 2-hour mark, and I might call it on the 2-hour mark. So we got 10 minutes left. So I'm going to dedicate the last 10 minutes, and I'm glad you're here with me, so that way you could experience it with me and also the chat. Thank you again for sticking around and watching the live stream and supporting. I want to check out some other campaigns or some other projects. So if anyone in the chat has any recommendations, or you guys think that there might be a project out there that you might think is worth time to check out, let me know. But I do have one in mind that I had in my eye on for a while, and
Cyberfog 3.
No, not that one. And by the way, we were talking about indie comics. Kyle here did pick up Cyberfrog. So he you haven't had a chance to read it yet, right?
No, I haven't. It's in my box here. It's in my list of 2 reads. I'm behind, but yeah.
Yeah, he got a Cyberfrog. He has a copy of Cyberfrog, so I'm waiting to hear what he has to say.
Because a few copies. Again, it was some guy online that was selling them cheap, and so I got that, and I got all the other freebies that were associated with it, like the little figurine and the keychains and playing cards and all that stuff. So give it a fair shot, see how it is. I mean, it looks great. I mean, because Ethan Van Sciver was great when he drew Green Lanterns and all the Rebirth and stuff like that. So he's a very talented artist.
I have been enjoying that the Green Lanterns Rebirth. Kyle let me borrow the trade paperback of the Green Lantern Rebirth storyline, and I've been enjoying it. Jeff Johns has been he wrote a great piece there, and Ethan's artwork is like phenomenal, like phenomenally good, like to the point where I'm like, damn, this is actually really good. Like this guy freaking, I could see why he was such a big deal. And I knew he was a big deal. What am I saying? I discovered Ethan Van Sciver when he drew the new X-Men with Grant Morrison, when he was filling in for Frank Quitely. And yeah, since then I was like, oh, this Ethan Mascavor guy is fantastic. Holy crap, like this guy's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing work, and I'm really impressed with the work he did in Green Lantern. And now you picked up Flash. You picked up Jeff Johns.
I picked up almost all the issues of his Flash Rebirth. I need to get number 1. I got 2 through 6.
So you have it.
Yeah, so I have to find that. But yeah, all the covers and everything, all the art that he's done is just phenomenal.
So yeah, Jack Irons Steel Cowboy is one project that it's closed. It's not in demand anymore. I thought it was still in demand, but it's closed now. And I've had an eye on this project for a while, and it's really cool looking. And the artwork is really good as well, and the story sounds cool. I just think I didn't get a chance to back it and read it because the premise is really cool, and I really do like the premise of it. It's like this dystopian cowboy landscape. Thanks. See you later, Greg. Thanks for joining us, man. I really do appreciate it, dude. I really do appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Nice meeting
hopefully you'll join me in future live streams, and we could talk some more comics and movies. Sounds like you're pretty knowledgeable about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was it. This is the Jack Irons one that I thought was really cool.
What's it about? Does it say?
Yeah, it says it's 48 pages, the best of the weird Space West. Jack Irons returns in his greatest adventure yet, giving the middle finger to systemic suffering. Join the original reincarnated immortal cowboy as he steps into corporate hell. So, a reincarnated immortal wanders through galactic Armageddon seeking purpose and freedom. Our universe is fractured into 4 horsemen's sick whims, a cracked mirror of sentiment, a sentient life's deepest lust and fears may manifest in excess. So it's kind of like a big bad corporation against this hero here, Jack Irons.
It was a Western. It's kind of like what we were talking about, like Westerns versus new stuff.
Yeah, right. But this is a mixture of the Western and the sci-fi trope, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it's well done here. And
it looks good.
I could have swore I saw it in demand, but I guess I was wrong. But yeah, Jack Irons is one project that I thought, look at that. This looks pretty freaking cool.
That's really cool looking. Huh.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's all about indie right here.
Right.
And then there's another one. Hold on, let me just get out of this one here. And by the way, how was your day today, Kyle?
Slow.
It was slow. It wasn't that busy at work.
It was just me and one other person there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Who? Danielle?
Danielle, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But got a lot done.
This is not live here anymore, but I think it's live on his own Shopify, which I should probably find here anyway. But well, since I'm already on Indiegogo, I'm just gonna showcase this one, The Lucient by Michael Bancroft. This one's cool. It's an Australian writer, and I think he has a Shopify, if I'm not mistaken. I think he has his own Shopify site that he sells his this comic book in. But it says here, in Waking Dream, we meet Ella Forsyth. My gosh, I probably butchered that last name. A young woman who from the outside appears to be living an unremarkable life, but every night in her dreams, she's visited by Damon Spector, an enigmatic young man who's teaching her to do things she never thought possible. However, when the barrier between dreams and reality begin to blur, she'll be thrown into the middle of a conflict that will turn everything she knows upside down.
Cool.
The Lucient? You talking about The Lucient, Ben? Yeah, the artwork is great. Look at that. Great artwork.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And yeah, I think it's about dreams, like the whole like dream landscape, lucid dreaming, that kind of stuff.
There's a play on that.
Yeah. Look at that. Great stuff.
Wow.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he was talking
So
about
like
recent.
that's like, you know, you said they're Australian.
Yeah, he's Australian. Michael Bancroft's Australian. I don't know about the artist. I think he's the artist as well. If I'm not mistaken.
Benjamin said that it was, yes, he was talking about this one for the hook.
Yeah, I think he's the artist. Yeah, Michael Bancroft. Yep. It's the only name I see him here. Artist and writer. Great dude. Great dude. Michael Bancroft is a great dude. I've been on his YouTube channel a few times to promote my stuff, and he's very like me, very supportive of the indie comic book scene. So I wanted to give him a shout out for this one because it's an interesting premise. I just haven't had a chance to back it yet because
you're showing all these great books and you can't even back them right now.
I know.
It's like,
well, if someone else can back them, then that's all that matters. But Vigilant FURY is live for those who are still watching and maybe watch the replay. So check it out. And help support and help us get to over the hump so we can keep making comics. Great looking comics like this. So you have anything to say, Kyle, before we call it? Because we're getting close to the 2-hour mark.
No, I don't have anything. I'm just having a good time.
Yeah. It should be having a good time.
Yeah. I
well, I'm
can't
glad
wait to
you
order
can make it.
my copy.
Go ahead.
Vigilant FURY. I was gonna say I can't wait to order my copy of Vigilant FURY.
Well, I can't wait for you to place your order because you're going to be. I know you came late. You came a little late, but in the beginning of the stream, I did mention that I started lettering the pages last night. Like I started, lettering, positioning the letters and stuff, and I was reading what I wrote in terms of dialogue and with Gambino's artwork. The book is great, man. I'm really excited about putting it out there. It's
that's good.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get this into the hands of readers, and hopefully they'll read it and enjoy it. Because I was finding myself enjoying it as I was lettering it. I was like, oh, that's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. So,
yeah, I mean, it's. I think what also helps too is that it's a one-shot, self-contained story.
Yeah,
because I feel like a lot of the times, like we were talking about, like with indie books, it's kind of hard to keep up with them a lot of the times because there's such a gap between books.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to keep with the story with all that time in between. So as long as if it's all there in that one book, then that's great. It's easier to sell, basically.
Yeah, it definitely is a graphic novel for sure. It's not an issue or anything like that. It's definitely one whole book. It's the artwork that Gambino provided is freaking like out of this world good. Like I was really impressed. Was like, damn, this is actually really fucking good. Because I haven't had a chance to look at the pages thoroughly, yet until I started lettering the book last night, and it's been fun. Like I think I have about 15 pages already started lettering.
Wow.
So now it's just onwards to the rest of it. And then it's going to be, then I'm going to need his first 20 pages that's already lettered, by the way. Those pages are already lettered. I just have to transfer them to the new pages when I get them. And it'll be good to go.
Cool.
Can't
wait.
All right. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us. It was a blast. It was fun. To talk about the project, talk about other stuff, talk about comic books. Kyle here joining us, and sharing his story of how he discovered comics, and now he's into indie comics as well. So hopefully it grows from here, right?
Right.
See what Ben said. The next book will be 9-issue series, and I'm not launching until 5 issues are done, so that I don't break the stride between issues. There you go.
That's
Kyle.
good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's a concern amongst indie books. All indie books have that problem I think there's a big space in between, and the problem with that is the intrigue is gone, right? The hype dies down, and then you're like, whatever, you get a book like a year later and you're like, oh, I ordered this, I forgot about this book. But you're not hyped to read it anymore. You're kind of like, I'll read it some
I'll get around to it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard.
I've waited already. I've waited this long already. I can wait a little longer to read it.
Exactly. And that's why it's so tough to do these crowdfunding campaigns, and that's why it's always best to try to keep that window as close to together as possible, because if you don't, then you lose the hype and you lose your reader. They won't read your book, and it could be like the next Watchmen, and no one will read the book.
It's not pretentious at all.
Well, hey, you never know. Never know. There's an Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons out there in the indie scene that maybe we haven't discovered yet, because they were late. They were late in delivering their book. But who knows? All right, guys and brother. We'll see you on the next one. I'm gonna try to live stream twice a month, so you'll be seeing more live streams from this channel going forward. Watch out for our show, Kyle and our show, called Let's Talk About It. And the first episode should come out sometime this week, preferably sometime this week. And then from then on, a new episode will come out once a week. The same thing goes with the Tales from the Sterling Indie Writer. Next episode comes out this coming Wednesday, so watch out for that. So subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave a comment after the live stream. We'll see you on the next one, guys. You have a good night. Peace.
All right. Thanks.